and we're going to join Gary Galley now as we welcome him in. And Gary, I guess we can start after what Tim and I have been talking about. Is this just a no-win situation for the Senators?
You know what? I think it is. I don't think it's when things go as wrong as they have gone, and you look at a team that was in the one goal away from going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and everyone was thinking about all these positive things, and things were on the right track, and things were going in the right direction, and it goes to show you how this league, and any league for that matter, sometimes it's a fine line between being successful and not being successful, and sometimes it's the smallest of things that can create the different culture that you need to be successful. You look at a team like Washington that just everyone was in awe of how things just fell into place finally for them, all those years of trying. And then this year, the right chemistry, Yada, Smith-Pelly, Oshie, guys that have been there for a little bit now start to do things a little bit differently and create a little different atmosphere. And all of a sudden, boom, this team can't lose. And for the Ottawa Senators, I don't think they were as good as everyone was saying as a goal from the finals, but I don't think they were as bad as they were either this year. But now all the lug nuts are off the wheels, and now you got to think that behind closed doors there is a plan in place moving forward that did not have a Mike Hoffman, did not have an Erik Karlsson, and there may be a few others that they may not be here, and there has to be a plan B and a plan C moving forward here, and for the fan base, and that's going to be the interesting thing, guys. When they open the doors and the games start, who's going to be in the building?
Yeah, that's exactly what we were just talking about, and I wonder if because of that, I know we had heard from the Athletic on the Hoffman deal that they didn't want to deal within the division. He ends up in the division anyway. When it comes to Karlsson, I'm not sure you have that luxury to not want to trade him in the division. You just have to get back as much as you possibly can. Agree or disagree?
I agree, because back in the day, when they invented I was playing, you just didn't. Montreal and Boston didn't make deals. I mean, teams, the Rangers, Islanders, never. Just you'd rather die than give somebody in your division, but the cap has changed all that, and you can't always expect the perfect dance partner. You have to find the person that can dance, take to the dance with, and you got to make the best hockey deal you can make, and that means that you will have to make moves with teams in your division. And I guess you just start worrying about what you need and stop worrying about what the other team's going to have. You got to look after your store.
Seems as though we're losing Gary Galley here.
You got me there?
Oh, no, there we go, there you go. And I completely agree with the point that you're making, so that makes it even better.
I'm curious.
It's the truth, because if you wait for a dance partner that's not in your division, I think you could be waiting a long time.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm curious then. Where is the best landing spot for Erik Karlsson? We're hearing Tampa, we're hearing Dallas, we're hearing Vegas. Will we not know what the best landing spot is until a deal is done and they see what they're getting back?
I think if the ownership in Ottawa want Bobby Ryan to be a part of this deal, then I obviously think that the landing spots get smaller, and you're looking at a team like possibly Vegas. Dallas could possibly do it, but I'm not sure. But if you're going to separate those two deals and it's just going to be Karlsson, I think you open up to a half a dozen teams that can make this thing work. And I personally, I just have a feeling that it's going to be a team that can take Bobby Ryan. For some reason, it seems to be they want to hitch their wagon to that. I'm not saying that that's the gospel, but I just got this feeling that they want that contract gone, and maybe what they get back in return isn't going to be as important as getting rid of the money. But I certainly disagree with that. I think you got to make them separate deals, and I think you got to move Karlsson and get some picks and get a good solid player back in return, a veteran player back in return. And so there's a half a dozen so landing spots. Obviously, Tampa Bay is the sweet one with Hedman, their best buddies. Certainly, I think the one thing that the Washington Capitals really took the Tampa Bay Lightning to task was the mobility of their blue line. I think they got slow. I think the forecheck was hard for them to get around. And I think when you have a guy like Karlsson back there and Hedman back there, and they're skating pucks out of your zone and one passing out of your zone, that means you're spending a lot less time in your zone, and I think that would be a real good fit. And also, I think for Karlsson, who really, during the All-Star game there, showed, how excited he was to be in Tampa, dressing up as Pirates, him and Hedman are buddies. I think that's the soft spot he's hoping for.